Hi, I'm Matt, and in this episode we are going to be looking at the Teksumo. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen part one of this series, I'm covering very simply all the models which you can buy, which I have here. So there are lots of other models you can buy for 50 quid or $65 USD or less. So today's model is the Teksumo. Previously we looked at the model called the Cloud Surfer AXN. That is the model which I learnt to fly with. And you may be wondering, why do I have three of them? And I can tell you point blank, the reason why I got three of them is because they are fantastic models, and I genuinely mean that. They are absolutely brilliant fun. So let's start with this one here first. And the reason why I'm starting with this one here first is because this one is my 3S setup. Now, I have, in all instances, heavily overpowered them. It's just my flying style, I'm afraid. There's a reason why my YouTube channel is called Rag the Nuts Off, because I do rag the nuts off both of these. But if we just look at the format, we've got, unlike a normal model, let me grab a normal model. There you go, I'll use the Hummer as an example, where you've got a main wing, a fuselage, and a tail with the rudder and elevator movable surfaces on. Let me move that one back out of the way. Is that they don't have any fuselage to say of, and they don't have a rudder or an elevator. So instead, the way which you move them around is using elevons. And the way which they work is very simple. You want to go up, they both come up. You want to go down, they both go down. And then when you want to go right and left, they just move appropriately on there. Now, the Teksumo is a super cheap model, so well below our 50 quid threshold. I think they cost about £28 sterling right now off Hobby King. Great model, very simple to build. All you really need to do is stuff a couple of servos in, glue on a motor mount and a motor, and obviously glue the wings together as well. The electronics is all very, very simple. And if we take a look at the underside, okay, like I did say, I have slightly overpowered mine. So I'll get this one on the iPad so you can see it. So let me move that over there. I am actually running a 100 amp ESC with mine. And the reason for that is that this is my 3S setup with a 9x6 prop and a Turnigy, I'll put this on the other camera, a Turnigy D35-36.5, 1450 kV, and it pulls something like 72 amps on full chat. So yeah, I don't like slow models generally, and this one is certainly fast, and this is my 3S setup. What I will do is, because I've got a separate, not build video, but a video which will help you make the Teksumo crash resistant, and I'll put a link to that up there now in the top right hand corner of the screen, so that you can learn about goop glue and what impact that has on the robustness of your models. Now, focusing upon my two which I've got here, so these are non-standard setups. I'm using Corona 4 kilogram servos on either side with carbon fiber push rods. As we also learnt a few moments ago, I do run mine with a 100 amp ESC, so that's the Turnigy Plush 100 amp ESC, and the 1450 kV motor. Now that is a 9x6 propeller on the back of there, and like I said, it pulls about 72 amps on full chat. It will rip the sky a new one every single time. But I would also like to make the point is that you don't always need to fly it ridiculously fast. So in the top right hand corner, there is a link to a video. It's low and it's slow, and it was really hard, and it was really, really good fun. If you try and fly about that far off the ground with one of these, brilliant, brilliant fun. Oh, and also, if you've got a bit of a breeze coming at you, try and fly it slow, just around the stall point. Really, really good handful. So that's my 3S setup. So I'm going to move that one out of the way and pop that one down. This is my 4S setup. Now, this is probably about the most well-painted Teksumo I have ever seen. You'll notice how vibrant the colours are on this one. This one was actually given to me by a fellow pilot. He just didn't get on with it. And by the way, the reason why he didn't get on with it is because he had got a sore shoulder. And the way which we typically launch these is grab them in the corner and then throw them out straight like that. So this is my 4S setup. Again, exactly the same layout. You'll see that I've got Corona servos, 1450 motor, but this time an 8x6 propeller. Okay, and if I turn her over, again, you'll notice it's the same speed controller in there. And this one, because we've got a smaller prop, we can run them with a larger battery. So this is my 4S setup. Okay. Now, give you a heads up, I rarely get issues with wires and stuff being pulled out in here. Generally, what happens is that it does eject the battery on a landing, even on the better landing. So, yeah, there's one negative which I can say about not only this Teksumo flying wing, but also the Bonsai flying wing, is that it will eject a battery on a bad landing. But to be honest, that's what you want most of the time, get the heavy lump out of the way, so it kind of reduces some of the impact. And the other Teksumo, which I've got here in the background, is a kind of a similar setup, but you'll notice in the middle is that I've got some extra electronics. Now, don't be scared by that. I ran a whole series on different flight control boards for flying wings, because everybody else is like playing around with quadcopters and stuff, but I really enjoy flying wings. So I did a series using the NAS A32 board. I've got an SP Racing F3 board here somewhere to do put iNav on it again. We've had a Pix Hawk. We've tried the Pix Racer. And what better model for us to use because of its known flight characteristics, which are nothing short of excellent. My first choice was to use a Teksumo for that. So I had one spare, so I quickly glued it up, and we've kind of gone from there. If you're thinking about FPV, the Teksumo again is a fantastic model for you to use, because it's very simple, and you'll see that not only on this model, but the one which we saw previously, is that we do have some Velcro on the top. So you could either put one of the smaller FPV cameras like the Eachine MC01 on the front, or you could put maybe like a Runcam Swift on there, and then just Velcro on your video transmitter here on the back. I've flown an awful lot with the Teksumo with FPV on it. Absolutely brilliant. Great flight characteristics, decent amount of flight time, even with overpowered motors. Just tremendous fun. And if you've never flown a flying wing before, the Teksumo is probably one of the best models for you to learn to fly a flying wing with, because they can be very, very docile, they can be great fun, and they can definitely be overpowered as well. They don't really tend to stall. You don't get one of those wing droppers and then into a death spiral. If it's going to go and do that, you find out about that very, very early on. Unlike, for example, something like a Wing Z84, they will wing stall or tip stall very, very easily, even when you have extra weight in the nose. To be honest, the only thing which you can screw up with a flying wing, or as such as a Teksumo, is getting the center of gravity wrong. So when you receive your model, make sure that you mark out the center of gravity, and then when you put your battery on all your components, that the center of gravity is correct. If you're unsure, just make her a little bit more nose heavy than what you normally would do, and that will get you past the maiden flight, and then you can just get used to flying her. So the Teksumo, I'll put a link to this one to the Hobby King website underneath this video for you. It's so good, I've got 3. Well, I bought 2. I killed my first one. That was a very, very sad day, unfortunately. I'll put a little link in the top right hand corner to that I made a tribute video to her. I was very sad for about a week while the new one was arriving, and then the new one's down there. Anyway, I'll put a link to the tribute video in the top right hand corner. So Teksumos, absolutely brilliant fun. Oh, I'll put the full setup details which I used in the video description for you. Yeah, absolutely brilliant fun. You can either rag the nuts off it on 4S, 3S, or you can turn it into an FPV platform. It will take a decent amount of load as well. We saw the extra electronics on top of that one. So if you want to try out some of the flight control boards, something like Mission Planner, or something like iNav, or Patrick E's base flight aeroplane, spot on that is. So if you want GPS, return to home and loiter modes, the Teksumo, because of its breadth of its chord, or the chord of its wing and its dimensions, makes a fantastic advanced platform as well. So it doesn't matter if you're just starting out and you're looking for your first wing, Teksumo is kind of a no-brainer. And if you want to do advanced stuff, like to have advanced features for longer flights, or you just want to rag and rip the sky a new one, you can do that with a Teksumo. So I am a big Teksumo fan, fantastic wings. And yeah, with that said, do you own a Teksumo? If you do, let me know in the comments section underneath. And if you don't, would you consider a Teksumo after watching this episode? Do let me know in the comments section. I would really, really value your feedback for those. So and your thoughts on the Teksumo flying wing. And of course, if you've enjoyed this episode, do me a favor, remember to press the like button underneath this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, go and press the subscribe button in the whichever way it is. And I'll put a little arrow on the screen for you in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this episode. This is a series on all the models which I own, which you can buy for 50 quid or $65 USD or less. So do make sure you subscribe, and you'll get and then you'll be notified the second when part 3 of this series is out. And on that note, I've talked too much. From myself, Matt, cheerios!